Hello and a very good evening. You're watching the news tonight on Rajya Sabha television. I'm Frank Rausan Pereira, and before we begin with the headlines, Rajya Sabha TV would like to make an appeal to all its viewers to stay safe from the COVID-19 pandemic. Wear face masks, wash your hands and face regularly, and maintain physical distancing while stepping outside. Remember that these simple precautions are all that it takes to defeat the pandemic. And now it's time for the headlines. Chairman Naidu appeals to MPs to hold debates in a dignified manner, hopes for a highly productive budget session, appreciates functioning of parliamentary committees during the inter-session period. Disruptions in Rajya Sabha as opposition demands discussion on ongoing farmer protests. Chairman urges members to raise the issue during discussion on motion of thanks to President's address. Lok Sabha adjourned for the day over opposition protests on farm laws. Agriculture Minister Narendra Singh Tomar says government ready to discuss farmers' issues in and outside the parliament. CBSE board examinations for classes 10th and 12th from 4th May to 10th June. Class 12th exams to be held in 2 shifts. Limited number of students allowed per exam center to ensure social distancing. Union Health Ministry deputes 2 high-level teams to Kerala and Maharashtra, moved to support COVID-19 management in the 2 states, contributing 70% of the total active cases in the country. Well, our top focus on the bulletin this evening, Rajya Sabha Chairman M. Venkaiah Naidu asked members to follow rules, maintain discipline and dignity while discussing issues of national importance and public good as well in the House. He urged the members to make the current budget session more purposeful, where issues are discussed in a peaceful, orderly and dignified manner. He said that it is binding on all members to see that the House functions properly. He appealed to the members to prevent any situation which will affect the interest of Parliament and also the nation. Stating that the nation has completed 100 years of representative democracy, the chairman said that the House should resolve to enhance the dignity through disruption-free proceedings as per rules and conventions. He expressed hope that the important budget session will turn out to be highly productive in the spirit of the last 4 sessions.
My appeal to all of you is that try to make the session more purposeful, and then the issues that can be discussed, they can be discussed threadbare in a peaceful, orderly, dignified manner. Last time some unfortunate incidents happened. I don't want to recall them, but it's all binding on all of us to see that the House runs properly. Members follow rules and regulations, maintain discipline and dignity, and also participate in debates in a meaningful manner. I have all along been appealing to members to prevent any such situation which will cause effect to the interest of the Parliament and also the nation.
Meanwhile, the chairman also complimented the committees, and the Rajya Sabha was adjourned for the day without transacting substantial business, as Congress and other opposition members created an uproar demanding discussion on the issue of farmers' protest over the 3 new farm bills. Here are the details.
A day after the presentation of Union Budget, Rajya Sabha, which convened at 9 a.m., saw multiple adjournments after opposition parties demanded that the House take up discussion on farmers' protest. Soon after observations made by the chairman, members raised issue during the question hour. Opposition parties, including the Congress, the DMK, Trinamool Congress and the CPM moved adjournment notice under Rule 267 of the Rules and Procedures and Conduct of Business in the Council of States to debate the issue.
That this house could not discuss the farmers' bills when it came up before this house. But now we are not on that. Everybody wants that is a matter of national importance. Even government is also holding discussions, but the house is not aware of what is going on.
In the border, hundreds and thousands of farmers and their families, including children, are there. Water supply and electricity is disconnected. It is an inhuman activity. You please ask them to resume that electricity and water supply there and conduct a discussion.
I got
with
your
the farmers.
point.
The issue is very serious. For more than 2 months, sir, in bitter cold, women and children and old age
This has been
people
said,
are
Shiva.
Sir,
Manoj Jha.
Sir, hundreds of guides, sir, and we have to discuss it separately.
Please.
मैं माननीय सभापति जी आपके माध्यम से कहना चाहता हूं कि संसद प्रतिनिधियों का केंद्र है। अगर संसद जन सरोकार के मुद्दों पर जहां एक तरफ सर्द पूस की रातों में लोग परेशान हो रहे, संसद कम से कम चर्चा करे। इतनी
He's in the Lok Sabha.
Time.
सर ये ऐसा इशू है जिसमें कि सरकार और संसद के सभी सांसद भी सभी इंटरेस्टेड हैं, सब बात करना चाहते
ठीक है।
हैं और डिस्कस करना चाहते हैं।
Thank you.
तो इसमें जैसे एक सॉल्यूशन निकल सके तो इसमें कोई एक यहाँ पर चर्चा होनी जरूरी, बाहर सड़क पे हो रही
Thank
है।
you.
Chairman M. Venkaiah Naidu said the farmers' issue is important and time will be allotted for the same on Wednesday.
Neither this or that side of the house is opposed to any discussions between the farmers and the government, and also to discuss the farmers' issue in the house. It needs to be held at the earliest, and it's a matter of time. In fact, I wanted the discussion to start today, but I was told and it was brought to my notice the convention that the discussion first starts in Lok Sabha and then the Rajya Sabha takes up. This has been the convention so far. Keeping that in mind, we have agreed to have the discussion on President's address tomorrow. Even the Business Advisory Committee also has been informed. So as we are going to discuss the President's address tomorrow as the first item, members can avail this opportunity and then participate and express their viewpoints. That's why I am not able to accept the notice given to suspend the business of the House.
Urging members to allow question hour to be conducted, Chairman Naidu said there were protests when question hour could not be taken up in the last session due to pandemic.
Please recall, last time because of pandemic, we could not have question hour and we could not have 0 hour. And many people protested against that, wrote articles also, made statements. Now we have question hour. Now we have question hour. Very important questions have been asked and replies of ministers are giving. Question hour should not become a casualty. The entire country wants the issues to be discussed.
After walking out, coming out and disturbing, they themselves were demanding that there should be question hour, and government has agreed, and question hour is going on. Members are interested in question hours and disturbing like this. Whether they want question hour or not, let them place it on record.
But the opposition parties, including the Congress, Left, TMC and DMK, staged a walkout after the demand for suspension of business to take up the issue was rejected by the chairman. The House was first adjourned for about 40 minutes till 10:30 am. As soon as the House met again, similar scenes were witnessed, leading to another adjournment at 11:30 am. When the upper house reassembled at 11:30 am, uproar continued as several protesting members trooped in the well, prompting Deputy Chairman Harivansh to adjourn the proceedings till 12:30 pm. The Deputy Chairman appealed to the opposition members to return to their seats and follow COVID-19 protocols. However, they did not heed to his request. Finally, at about 12:30, the proceedings were adjourned to meet at 9 am on Wednesday without conducting any business.
Participation of Dinesh Trivedi of Trinamool Congress was a silver lining, and protest of opposition was symbolic today. It is expected that tomorrow onwards they will participate in the presidential address that is going to be discussed in the upper house. Akhilesh Suman for Rajya Sabha Television from Parliament House in Delhi.
Well, the chairman complimented the department-related parliamentary standing committees of the Rajya Sabha for working overtime on behalf of the parliament by holding 55 meetings during the intersession period.
During the intersession period, 8 department-related parliamentary standing committees of Rajya Sabha worked overtime and held a total of 55 sittings during the intersession period. These committees met for a total duration of 110 hours and 0.4 minutes, which comes to an average duration of 2 hours and 7 minutes. This is an improvement over the previous average of 1 hour 54 minutes per each meeting. I hope the duration of the meetings would further rise given the efforts and the costs involved. I was very happy when I have gone through the reports of the standing committees and also the deliberations of the standing committees, how members have participated and made constructive suggestions and try to elicit as much information as possible. I compliment the chairman and members of all these standing committees for the good work they have done in discussing and preparing the reports of the same, all the chairmen.
Well, Rajya Sabha Chairman M. Venkaiah Naidu appreciated the efforts by the centre in containing the pandemic. He said that India has emerged as the vaccine factory of the world.
The change between the same time last year and now is perceptible. When the pandemic broke out last year, we had the required testing facilities, quality masks and personal protection equipment required to handle the pandemic. A year later, our country, besides successfully containing the pandemic, has emerged as the hope of other countries as well as indigenously made vaccines and as the vaccine factory of the world. This is a remarkable transformation. The House places on its record its appreciation of the people and all other concerns of the same. Honourable members, on several occasions our country has challenged the down under rose as one nation to tide over. Our fight against the COVID pandemic is one such illustration.
Well, the Lok Sabha adjourned for the day on Tuesday following opposition parties' uproar against the 3 farm laws. As soon as the lower house met at 4 o'clock, opposition parties including Congress, DMK, TMC and others started demanding a debate on the new farm laws. Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla repeatedly urged the members to maintain order in the House, saying that they will get ample time to raise the issue. Amid din, he adjourned the House till 5 p.m.
क्वेश्चन आवर आपका सबसे महत्वपूर्ण समय होता है, अधिकार है। पिछली बार आपने कहा था कि प्रश्नकाल नहीं हुआ तो लोकतंत्र की हत्या हो रही, इसलिए मैंने आपसे आग्रह से इस कोविड काल के समय भी प्रश्नकाल शुरू किया। मेरा आपसे आग्रह है, प्लीज आप अपनी अपनी सीट पर विराजें, मैं आपको पर्याप्त समय पर्याप्त अवसर दूंगा।
Agriculture Minister Narendra Singh Tomar asserted that the government has always been ready to discuss the issues of the farmers in and outside Parliament. He further said the government is committed to discuss the farmers' issue.
सभी सदस्यों को आग्रह करना चाहता हूं कि सदस्य अगर किसानों के बारे में चर्चा करने के लिए तैयार हैं तो सरकार सदन के भीतर भी और सदन के बाहर भी हमेशा चर्चा के लिए तैयार रही है। आपके माध्यम से यह बताना चाहता हूं, किसानों से चर्चा में सरकार पूरी तरह प्रतिबद्ध रही है।
Well, as noisy scenes continued, the Speaker Om Birla adjourned the House till 7 p.m. Lok Sabha resumed with the discussion on motion of thanks on the President's address. BJP member Locket Chatterjee briefly spoke on it, highlighting the government's steps for betterment of the country. Amid noisy scenes, the Speaker adjourned the House till 4 p.m. on the 3rd of February. Well, moving on now, the Board of Examinations for classes 10th and 12th will begin from the 4th of May. The CBSE announced on Tuesday. The exams will be held in adherence with the COVID-19 protocol. According to the CBSE date sheet, the exams for class 10 will conclude on June 7th, while those for class 12 will end on June 10th. Class 12 exams would be conducted in 2 shifts. The timings for the 2 shifts will be 10:30 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. and 2:30 p.m. to 5:30 p.m. The exam date sheet has been prepared in such a manner that on any day, the total number of students in an examination center is limited.
मुझे भरोसा है कि अब जो ये डेट शीट आपको मिल रही है, इसके आधार पर आप खूब मेहनत करेंगे, अच्छी मेहनत करेंगे। और आपने तब भी दुनिया को बताया जब पूरी दुनिया इस कोरोना काल के महासंकट से गुजर रही हुई परेशानी का सामना कर रही थी और अभी भी कर रही है, तब भी आपने बताया कि नहीं, हम भारत के छात्र पूरी ताकत के साथ हर परीक्षा को देने को तैयार हैं। हम अपनी सुरक्षा भी देखेंगे, अपनी रक्षा भी करेंगे, अपने भविष्य को भी संवारेंगे और आपने संवारा है। आपने विषम परिस्थितियों में भी बहुत अच्छे तरीके से बहुत मनोयोग से आपने परीक्षाओं को दिया और सफलता अर्जित की है। मुझे लगता है ये पूरी दुनिया का अपने में अलग सा ही उदाहरण होगा।
Well, Defence Minister Rajnath Singh on Tuesday stressed on producing defence equipment under the Atmanirbhar Bharat program, adding that India cannot remain dependent on other countries for the defence of our country. Rajnath Singh said this after inaugurating Hindustan Aeronautics Limited's second light combat aircraft production line in Bengaluru. The Defence Minister said that has been informed that several countries have expressed interest in procuring indigenous Tejas M1A fighter aircraft. Cabinet Committee on Security, chaired by Prime Minister Modi on January 13, 2021, approved the 48,000 crore deal to procure 73 Tejas Mk1A variants and 10 LCA Tejas Mk1 trainer aircraft from HAL.
कब तक हम देश की सुरक्षा के लिए दुनिया के दूसरे देशों पर डिपेंडेंट रहेंगे? लंबे समय तक नहीं रह सकते। और हमारे प्रधानमंत्री का तो बार-बार आग्रह रहता है कि इंडिजिनाइजेशन को, स्वदेशीकरण को जितना भी हम बल दे सकते हैं, हम वो बल देना चाहिए और उस पर हमको कदम आगे बढ़ाना चाहिए। और हम सभी का यह संकल्प है कि हम जो भी बनाना होगा, डिफेंस इक्विपमेंट, प्लेटफॉर्म्स, वेपन्स, कोशिश हमारी यह है कि हम खुद बनाएंगे और सीमा की और अपने स्वाभिमान की दोनों की सुरक्षा भी करेंगे।
Meanwhile, the stage is all set for the 13th edition of Aero India, which will commence from February 3rd in Bengaluru. With a combination of both physical and virtual exhibition, the 13th edition of the biennial international event at the Air Force Station in Yelahanka will be the world's first hybrid aerospace show.
The country's premier aerospace and defence exhibition, Aero India 2021, will take off on Wednesday in Bengaluru amid the COVID-19 pandemic with buzz around Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan and Make in India push. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh will be attending the 3 days event at the Yelahanka Air Force Station.
Aero India 21 is an inspiring story that unfolds in a few hours. This year, unlike many in the past, will witness the new initiatives of New India that have begun to change potential into reality.
As many as 601 exhibitors, 523 Indian and 78 foreign have confirmed participation. Air India 2021 will see the participation of top aviation firms, while India will showcase its indigenous defence capability. Defence Research and Development Organization will exhibit its latest defence technologies.
The Indian Ocean Region Defence Ministers conclave would reinforce the relevance of the region and its continued importance for stakeholders from the perspective of trade, security, and freedom of navigation. The event would provide an opportunity to discuss and share perspectives on common values and interests that we have in the Indian Ocean region.
In view of the COVID-19 pandemic, people have been advised to watch the air show virtually. Air India exhibition is organized every alternate year. It is one of the major exhibitions for aerospace and defence industries with the public air show. Navikram Singh's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
Well, the BJP has announced a list of elections in charges and co-in-charges for poll-bound states of Tamil Nadu, Kerala, Assam and Union Territory of Puducherry. The Agriculture Minister Narendra Singh Tomar has been appointed in charge for Assam, while Dr. Jitendra Singh, Union Minister, has been named co-in-charge. For Tamil Nadu, Minister of State for Home Affairs G. Kishan Reddy will be the in-charge, while Minister of State for Road Transport General V.K. Singh, retired, has been announced co-in-charge. The party has given the responsibility of Kerala to Parliamentary Affairs Minister Prahlad Joshi. He will be supported by Deputy Chief Minister of Karnataka, Dr. Ashwath Narayan. Minister of State for Parliamentary Affairs Arjun Ram Meghwal has been appointed in charge of Puducherry, while party national spokesperson Rajiv Chandrasekhar is the co-in-charge. Well, BJP President JP Nadda will be on a two-day visit to the poll-bound state of Kerala from Wednesday, where he will attend a number of programs and address a rally in Thrissur on Thursday. He will address the state BJP core committee meeting at Tampanur on Wednesday and later meet newly elected local body members of the party. Nadda will also hold a meeting with the party's allies. The assembly elections are likely to be held in April-May in Kerala. Well, amid the ongoing exodus from TMC ahead of the assembly polls in West Bengal, Diamond Harbour MLA Deepak Haldar joined the BJP on Tuesday, a day after he quit the Trinamool Congress. The two-time legislator from Diamond Harbour constituency joined the party during a rally in South 24 Parganas. BJP leader Mukul Roy, Shubhendu Adhikari and Rajiv Banerjee were present on the occasion. Haldar quit the ruling party, accusing the TMC leadership of not allowing him to work for the people. Well, other news from other states now. Incidents of violence were reported from Punjab in the course of nominations for the municipal polls in the state on Tuesday. Shiromani Akali Dal chief Sukhbir Singh Badal's car was damaged and 4 people were injured in a clash between Congress and Akali workers in Punjab's Fazilka district. Incidents of stone pelting and firing have also been reported. Well, here's a look now at the COVID-19 situation in the country. Well, India's daily new cases dropped below 9,000, while the daily deaths fell below 100 in the lowest in nearly 9 months. 8,635 new cases were reported in the last 24 hours, taking the nationwide tally to over 1 crore 7 lakh. The country's active cases declined to 1.63 lakh, comprising just 1.52% of the total positive cases. The death toll increased to 1,54,486, with 94 new fatalities in the same period, with 13,423 recoveries in the last 24 hours. India's total recoveries have crossed 1 crore 4 lakhs. The recovery rate has reached 97.05%. Over 6.59 lakh samples were tested on Monday. With this, India has tested more than 17.77 crore samples so far. Meanwhile, Delhi Health Minister Satyendra Jain on Tuesday said that the national capital was moving towards herd immunity against COVID-19. Citing the latest serological survey, he said that more than 56% people in Delhi have developed antibodies against coronavirus. However, the minister urged people to continue wearing masks and following COVID-19 appropriate behavior.
केसेस भी बहुत कम है, हॉस्पिटल्स में एडमिशन भी बहुत कम हो रहे हैं, उसके बावजूद भी मास्क जरूर लगा के रखें। कोविड एप्रोप्रिएट बिहेवियर ये ध्यान रखिएगा। पिछले 2-3 महीने में दिल्ली की पूरी जनता ने बहुत ज़्यादा सहयोग किया है। सभी लोगों ने बड़ी मेहनत भी की है। अब सड़क पे देखेंगे सब लोग मास्क लगा के, मैं यहाँ पर भी देख सकता हूँ कि सभी ने मास्क लगाया हुआ है। अभी आपको कुछ दिनों और कुछ महीने और अभी मास्क लगाने की ज़रूरत है, सोशल डिस्टेंसिंग रखने की आवश्यकता है और मुझे लगता है कि हम सब लोग मिलकर इस बीमारी पर कंट्रोल पा सकेंगे।
Well, more than 41 lakh healthcare workers have been vaccinated for COVID-19 across the country so far. Over 1.7 lakh beneficiaries were vaccinated across 3,785 sessions in the last 24 hours. In all, 76,516 vaccine sessions have been held across the country thus far. Meanwhile, India continues to send COVID-19 vaccines to other countries in line with its vaccine diplomacy. Made in India vaccines were sent to Dubai on Tuesday. Calling it a symbol of special friendship between the two nations, External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar shared photos of the consignment reaching Dubai. Well, the centre has deployed two high-level teams to Kerala and Maharashtra for supporting the states in COVID-19 management. The central team to Maharashtra includes experts from National Centre for Disease Control and Dr. RML Hospital, Delhi. The Kerala team include experts from Regional Office of the Health and Family Welfare in Thiruvananthapuram and Lady Hardinge Medical College, Delhi, besides senior officials from the Health Ministry. The teams will take stock of the on-ground situation and make recommendations to contain the large number of cases being reported by these states. Currently, the two states contribute almost 70% of the active COVID-19 cases in India. Meanwhile, mountaineer Amgoth Tukaram called on the Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu at his residence on Tuesday. Tukaram briefed the Vice President about his accomplishments in scaling some of the highest mountains in the world, including Mount Everest in Nepal. The Vice President conveyed his appreciations and best wishes. Well, moving on to other news now, the Ministry of Home Affairs has handed over to the National Investigation Agency the probe into the blast near the Israel Embassy in Delhi. On Monday, Prime Minister Modi spoke to his Israeli counterpart Benjamin Netanyahu to convey his strong condemnation of the terror attack and asserted that India will deploy all its resources to find and punish the perpetrators. A minor IED blast took place near the Israeli Embassy in the heart of Lutyens, Delhi on Friday. No one was injured. Well, with that, it's a wrap on this newscast. But before we leave, Rajya Sabha TV would like to make an appeal to all its viewers to stay safe from the COVID-19 pandemic. Wear face masks, wash your hands and face regularly, and maintain physical distancing while stepping outside. Remember that these simple precautions are all that it takes to defeat the pandemic.